Hello, folks, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jonah from Spotlight, and I am thrilled, as always, to be here with you today. Hop in the comments if you're here. Let me know where you're tuning in from, something you're excited to learn. Make sure to let me know that you can hear and see me all right. I want to make sure all of the tech side is good before we dive in. And also, feel free at any point to holler out where you're tuning in from, something you're excited to learn, if you've been to any past Spotlight events, and also feel free to let me and the rest of the audience know a little bit more about you if you're interested in building courses, if you've already built courses, where you're at in your online business process and journey. We love hearing all of that. And just want to call out people tuning in here from Rochester, Minnesota. I'm in Minneapolis, so it's a delight to have you here. Tuning in from India, from Texas. Um, Love it, love it, love it. Look at all these folks tuning in. This is fantastic. Oh, we're going to have a blast today. So, per the title of today's event, we are going to be talking about a really important step in building your online course. And we're going to dive into that in just a minute. I want to make sure that everyone has time to tune in and join us here and ask any questions you have throughout this event. I am always delighted to dive into those questions. And if I don't answer it right away, I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I've set aside time at the end to get to any residual questions that might be there. So if I don't get to it right away and it seems like I missed it, please just pop it in there again. I promise I'm not ignoring you. And if at any point throughout the event I'm moving fast, you have to get up away from the computer, life happens around you, and you have to run, no fret, there will be a replay available. It'll be on the Spotlight by Teachable YouTube channel. It'll be on the spotlightapp.io website, and it'll also be emailed to you along with some additional resources if you signed up for the event. So all of this is going to be here for you whenever you need it down the road. And also don't forget, and I'll mention them in the future too, later in the event, but we have a bunch of additional resources in the description below. You can start a Teachable account completely free. And we have a PDF and a mini course specifically designed to help you in your process of building and selling online courses. So this event, if you don't get quite enough out of it, or you want to get into detail about any of the aspects we touch on today, check out those resources and also check out the Spotlight by Teachable YouTube channel. We are working very hard to try and bring you all of the solutions we can muster to the many challenges that exist in taking your business online, building coaching products, course products, email marketing, growing your social media audience, just general branding as well. We're trying to cover it all, and your feedback helps us do so. So either after this event or down the road, there is also a link in the description to submit a survey that asks you what you would like to see us do, what you're enjoying about these events. But please consider filling that out. We build these events based off of what you want, what you voice, what you express you need. And so it's very valuable to have your input when we go and do this. All that said, let's dive in today. And like I said, today we're talking about an absolutely critical step in building your online course. And this is a big mistake I made in my first course, which I built in a vacuum, thinking I just knew what students would need and I would just put it out there and people would want it. And pretty soon I realized that you're so much better off if you just follow this one step in the process. So let's dive in. And once again, if you have any questions throughout the process, please ask them throughout the event. Happy to answer them. So I am presenting today a system that will allow you to launch a course with all of these benefits. So, what if you could test your curriculum, Validate and improve your curriculum with a small group of students, build your A team, and create a loyal group of students who will champion your brand throughout your launch process. Be 100% launch ready with testimonials and proof of transformation when it's time to launch to the public, and pre sell smarter. You can create promotional mechanisms that maximize your reach and potential. This is everything we're going to accomplish with the system today. And we're going to dive into how we do all of this. And the general idea, what we're talking about today, is running a beta program of your course. And I just want to answer a couple questions coming in. Carol is asking, is Spotlight an example of an online course? Spotlight itself is not. We are a resource to help you build online courses and build your online business. But we do have a mini course that you can check out in the description. It's all about establishing your home base on Teachable. I'll talk about it a little more at the end, but it is also a fantastic example of what an online course can be, and especially a free mini course. It's there for you to sign up for, and it's completely free. But back to the program. Like I said, we are going to be talking about how to run a successful beta program of your course so you can get all the benefits I mentioned on the previous slide. So, what do you need to take full advantage of this process? Where do you need to be in your journey to make this really work? Well, first, you are going to need to have your curriculum. Even if it is minimal or rough and ready, you need to have a sense of what that curriculum is, how you're going to walk students through that process, and what the real transformation is. If you need help with that, we have done past events diving deep into various ways to develop curriculum that fit into your busy schedule and are comprehensive and just templates you can use to build that curriculum. So we have those past events if you need that. But at this point, what we're talking about today, if you are ready to run a beta program, that means you have that curriculum ready. Now, it doesn't have to be finished. Once again, the beauty of a beta program is you're getting external feedback to refine that curriculum, but you do need a baseline curriculum. You also are going to need a network, at least a small network. And we're not talking an audience here. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of followers or anything like that. But between your tens to hundreds of followers and your existing coworkers and network and people who you already know, you need to be able to feel comfortable reaching out to them, and you need to assemble them in a place where you can reach out to them. So making sure that you have stock of your network, and I'll give you some tools to do that as well. You will need time for this process. This is a hefty process. There's a lot of other aspects of building an online course that you can work into a busy schedule, and we have tons of available videos and hacks for doing so. But when it comes time to actually run your beta program, you are going to need to allot 5 to 10 hours a week that you can dedicate to assisting your students on their journey. Once the course is live to the public, you won't need to baby everyone as much. But during this beta program, it is really important to work really closely with those students, have open angles of communication, and be able to collect as much as you can from them, because this will go down to really make a powerful, impactful course that once you release to the public has the desired impact and transformation that you're promising. And you will also need a few tools. At the end of this event, I'm going to dive into the actual Teachable product, show you how I am running my beta program, the tools that I am using to run it, and those are all available on Teachable for you to run a beta program. It's super, super easy to do. So, this is everything we're going to cover. And a great question coming in: how much would you charge as a percent off from your final pricing for your beta? I am going to talk about that in just a second here. But fantastic question. I love where everyone's mind is at coming into this event. So, here's the game plan for today. This is overall what you're going to need to do to run a successful program. And this is pretty high level stuff, but I'm going to get into the details in a second here. So, first step is you need to clarify, and this is going to harken to the question that was just asked by Polka Dots and Blooms. You need to be clear about what you're expecting from your students and what they should expect from you. I've heard various creators say this in various forms, but if you don't set clear expectations, you leave people to come up with their own and you leave people to be disappointed. This is a mistake I have made in the past. It's a mistake a lot of creators make early on. So, setting really clear expectations for the time commitment, for what you want from them, for what it costs, for what the whole experience is going to be like is really important. Lines you up to deliver properly and also lines your students up to be delighted, excited, and learn everything they can from you. Step two, once you know what those expectations are going to be, is to reach out to people to actually put forward your expectations and the offer, the transformation that you're promising, and get that first group of 5 to 10 students. After that, you have to really work to create community. And through all of this process of running a beta program, like I said, you're going to be a little more involved, and creating a positive community of those initial students is going to lay a fantastic foundation, both for those students and future students, because the future students that come into the course are going to be walking in the footsteps of this initial group. So, making sure that there is space for those students to communicate and give feedback throughout the program is really, really important. And the last step is really just once you're in it, you have to stay on schedule. And again, a mistake I learned and something that I've heard from a lot of creators when they do this for the first time is in that early process of clarifying it. It is really important to also be realistic with yourself. What is a schedule you can stick to? Where and how can you show up? And making sure that you do stick to that, because it is going to be absolutely critical. Why would students be present and engaged if you are not yourself? So, we're going to cover each one of these aspects in a little more detail here. Once again, drop in the comments if you have any questions. Anita is asking, is this recorded to view later? Yes, it'll be on the Spotlight by Teachable YouTube channel. It'll be there in infinity, so it's here whenever you need it. So let's focus on clarifying your offer. And this harkens to the question Polka Dots and Blue Masks. How much would you charge as a percent off from your final pricing for your beta? So the way I like to think about beta programs, and this isn't hard math here, but I use this equation in general, wrapping my head around what my students' investment will be. And the investment is a result of the outcome divided by the amount of time and money you're asking from your students. So this is very flexible, and honestly, you can set it up individually with each student what you're offering, but the reality is people want big results quick and fast. So the more time that you're asking from students, if you're asking them to give you video testimonials or write long feedback about anything, the less money you really should consider asking for your beta program students, because that time is money for them. And so if you want really detailed feedback, really robust testimonials, you're going to have to ask for a little less money. And the less time you're asking for, though, the more money you can ask, right? And the smaller the outcome you're promising, so the smaller the transformation, if it's a mini course or something that's really a low, I don't want to say low quality, but if if you're just teaching someone how to change the tire on a car, not necessarily change their financial like life or anything, the less time and money that you can ask for. So using this equation just helps me visualize and wrap my head around oh, excuse me, what kind of investment I am asking from my students. And when I reach out to them, it really helps me gauge how I set those expectations for the students. So Included in that process is also wrapping your head around what those expectations are going to be. It's hard for me to give blueprints for those expectations because it really, really depends on what your course is about, what you're offering, what the time commitment is. There's a million ways to do these, like a beta program, all the way from just unleashing the students into the program through doing cohort based meeting once a week. It really depends on your product and your audience and what fits for them. So if you have any specific questions about that, drop them in the comments. I'm happier to get more specific if you give me a little idea of what you're working with. It's just really hard to give general advice for how to set specific expectations, right? But hopefully, this equation at least gives you a sense of, like Polka Dots and Blooms was asking, how much percent off do you charge? It may be that you don't charge a dime for your beta program because you're asking a lot from those students. And if it is a huge course, even if it's offering a giant outcome, if it's going to take students a lot of time, hours and hours and hours to absorb it, even though they're getting a lot out of it, you may have to consider a very little amount of money. If you're doing cohort based stuff, then you can ask for a lot more money. That's your direct time involved. That said, once you're clear about those expectations and you know roughly the value and the investment that you're asking from your students, it's time to reach out. And you want to make sure when you reach out that it is very easy for potential students to say yes, no, maybe, or share it with someone who might be interested. So, if you've been at any past Spotlight events, you've seen this before, I am sure. And this is what I call a transformational mantra. Now, this is valuable both within your bigger brand, but also for every specific product. And it is what you want to use as a template for reaching out to people. It's going to make it incredibly easy for people to know exactly what it is, the problem that you're trying to solve, who you're looking for to be part of it, the transformation that you're promising, and how long it's going to take them. So, this is the equation. You can screenshot this. You can come back to this in the replay. But just to give you an example, as well as working for Teachable and Spotlight, I also have my own business. I am a course creator, and I'm currently creating a course on producing music, helping musicians who can play learn how to produce their own music so that they don't have to go necessarily into a recording studio, that they're enabled by the more remote situation we're all living in with remote work and collaboration. So to put this into my course, I would say I am helping passionate musicians, that's my audience for this, who struggle to produce professional quality music. That is the problem that they face, become skilled and confident producers. That's the transformation I am promising, the personal transformation. It's not a feature, it's who they're going to be after they go through my program in 2 months. That's what I'm expecting it to take for someone to actually be able to take full advantage of the entire course and the beta program and to get through everything, be able to do the assignments, do the practice, and be at the point where I can confidently say they are now skilled and confident producers. So I also highly encourage you to hop in the comments and put in your own language into this template. So drop in the comments and insert your audience, the problem they're dealing with, the transformation, and how long it would take. It's great practice to try and narrow this down. And it is fantastic to test it out with a group and a community like this. So feel free to drop that in there. I'm happy to give critique or leave it alone. Tell me if you don't want critique, but give it a whirl, give it some practice. It can take a second to really hone. Oh, excuse me, to really hone in. And most importantly, like I said, make it easy to share. So when you reach out to people, make sure to tell them, if that sounds like you, let's work together. Here's how you get in contact with me. You can put a link. If you're texting them, they can reply. If you're emailing them, they can reply. And also make sure to say, if this sounds like someone you know, forward this to them. That one sentence is hugely beneficial. I can't accentuate this. When I went out to launch my beta program, half of the students in my beta program came through people who weren't interested but sent the offer to someone else. And you really want to make sure to say forward this to them, not go say, in your own language, but you want them to forward your transformational mantra, which you've worked hard to create, to those people. So copy and paste this text, use it. This is all together one big text, one bit like small email, and you can just send it to 20 to 50 people. Once again, your goal is 5 to 10 beta students to get involved in the course. And remember, with those expectations, when people reply saying, okay, what are the expectations? You are asking for these four things. You're asking for them to show up, be present, take the course, first and foremost, right? Not just be interested, but to actually engage in the course. You're asking for their feedback in writing. You want actual feedback in writing that you can use to improve your curriculum. You're asking for testimonials, and those could be written testimonials or video testimonials or proof of work. So you can ask for them to give you work before and after they've gone through the course to show the improvement. This is going to be the most valuable thing that you get from your students when it's time to launch your course. And if you've deemed it appropriate in your investment equation, you are asking for money. So you also want to make sure to have these clarified and easy to reply back to them. If someone says, yes, I'm interested, but I'm curious a little more what it's going to take, you want to have all this information on hand, ready in one text or one email to reply. Say, thank you so much for being interested. Here's the details. Let me know if I can count you in, right? That is your process for reaching out. And the real key to doing that is just to do it. You're going to get a lot of no's, you're going to get a lot of no responses, but you have to reach out and you have to keep at it. You can give yourself a time frame, say, okay, I'm going to reach out to 100 people in a month. I'm going to reach out to 20 people in a week, whatever it takes to get you to that 5 to 10 initial students is really valuable. And don't underestimate maybe putting a flyer up at your local coffee shop or any of those more kind of like guerrilla based boots on the ground approaches. Those are all valuable, and it's really valuable to have people just a little outside your immediate community because they're going to be giving more honest, real feedback. So, when it comes to creating community, you can do a certain amount of that in Teachable, but there are also a ton of fantastic platforms for creating community. Circle integrates directly with Teachable, so that is the easiest system to use, the easiest application to use if you just want to keep everything super organized. However, Facebook groups are also fantastic just because everyone is already on Facebook. So it's a platform people know. You can have a private group that your beta program students come into. Discord is what I use just because it's a place where a lot more quote unquote nerdy people hang out. And that's kind of my audience. So I use Discord because a lot of people are already there and it's very text based. It's very easy to keep track of and allows for a bunch of different topics. It's just super easy. That said, Facebook and Circle are fantastic. And then Group App is just another one similar to Circle, just to give you yet another service to check out and depend on which one makes sense for your audience. However, I do want to say when it comes to creating community, don't just offer community as a feature. So at first, you are just going to be harboring this community for this initial group of students, but that doesn't necessarily mean that down the road your course has to include a community. A lot of course creators for the last 5 years have tacked on a community as just part of the program, an additional feature. However, more and more I am seeing creators say that that is a lot of work. And if you don't show up and aren't an active member of that community, it is not a value offer. It is, again, a place where you are just setting people up for an expectation. And if you don't keep it, you are setting them up to be disappointed. So you do want to use one of these services to like initiate community for your beta group because that group deserves extra attention. But I do want to point out, don't just assume that you're going to have that community available for the public when you offer the course to the public, because those communities take a lot of work, and you have to be sure that you can deliver, that you can show up, that you can be present during that process. So once again, it's there to help the beta program students, but think really carefully about whether you want to set up a community for the course. And if you want to look at another model, which is a more membership based community that you can give course students and offer to, check out our past event we did with Jay Klaus about building community. It's called How to Build a Community Your Students Can Thrive In. It's on our YouTube channel. And Jay Klaus is a fantastic creator, podcast producer, community um, master. And he's developed a fantastic system for having a membership program, which is the community that he puts his attention into. And then anyone who buys his courses has the ability to get a discount in that community. That's a great way to do it as well. Now, after you have you've clarified the investment, you've reached out to those students, you have 5 to 10 students, you've created a place for you and your students to talk. The next point is just simply to do it. It's time to dive in. Put your students in the course, get them enrolled in the course, give them a timeline and an initiation date and all the expectations that are set, and go for it. It's gonna be so valuable for you to just dive in. I do want to highlight a couple things that I learned within the first week of initiating my beta program. And one of the reasons I am such a big fan of a beta program. And Sarah, I could see you've got a bunch of great questions in there. I'll answer them in just a second there. The first thing I learned is that I was 100% wrong. What each student finds valuable and life changing varies immensely. I, of course, knowing a lot of the basics of music production and all of that, thought the basics were just things I had to get out there. And I really was excited to dive into the details, the tips and tricks, all that cool stuff with the students. But immediately, my students were mind blown by the basics. And you can't assume that the basics are boring. The basics for many people are going to be what really makes the difference. So don't gloss over them, and understand that you are going to find out you were wildly wrong about some aspect of your course right away. Take it as a learning opportunity. Take that feedback. Don't take any of it personally. This is the whole idea of a beta program, is the opportunity to improve. You're also going to realize how much of a game changer running a beta program is. Immediately, I saw that I am learning as much, if not more, than my students. That can be everything from how to teach a lesson to what is interesting to students to even actual learning of production. I've had students in my beta program being like, "Can't you do it this way?" And I'm like, "Holy heck, you can do it that way. I never even thought of it." So, coming into your beta program as the authority, but also willing to learn from your students, is absolutely critical and is going to give you a lot of fodder for future courses, for improving your existing course, for future lead magnets. Starting to come out of the vacuum of developing a course alone and working with those students absolutely changes the entire spectrum of the game. And the other thing I learned, like I mentioned, is it is time to show up. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, this is when you have to allot some time. And I made this mistake right away, launching my beta program when I was moving, when I was traveling, and it was just too much. I had to tell students that I'm delaying for a few months until I was really able to dive in. And although the students were incredibly kind and polite about it and still engaged and still interested, it doesn't feel good to set an expectation and then break it yourself, because you're not establishing a great environment for students to inspire them. What's inspiring is when a course creator sets expectations, shows up, and blows them out of the water. And if there's anything I can tell you, it's to set reasonable expectations for yourself when you're launching your beta program. Make sure that you can show up, be excited, be fun, and be a great teacher, have everything on hand you need to host a fantastic beta program, because it is going to set the tone for the entire thing, and your students will respond accordingly. And kind of like I just mentioned, also make sure to be fun. Make it fun. Not once in any course that I've built for myself or for other companies have I ever heard a student say, "Hey, could we make this less fun?" Right? People want to have a good time. And in this modern age, more and more entertainment and education are bleeding into each other. And it's really valuable to make sure that you set yourself up in a situation and an environment where you can have fun so that your students will have fun with you. So, like I said at the beginning, I wanted to give you a system that would allow you to test your curriculum. That is 100% what a beta program allows you to do, and it is absolutely vital. So many creators go out there with curriculum that they've generated in a vacuum, they put it out, and then they're surprised when they put it into the public, and either students aren't buying it, or they're not impressed, or they're not getting the transformation that was promised to them. So, testing that curriculum with at least enough students to get a bit of a demographic and know that your curriculum can get at least those students through the transformation you're promising is so valuable. You're also building that A team. Like we said, this initial group, if you prove that transformation and you really give them everything you got, they are going to be huge advocates for your brand and your course. You're going to be able to call on them in the future for promotional materials, for further feedback, because you have potentially change their lives. Some of the information that you all out there are teaching, I know can actually change lives. And so that initial group that you've really taken care of is going to set the tone for all future students. Like I said, we're going to be launch ready by the end of running your beta program. You are going to have testimonials. You're going to have a validated curriculum. You're going to be ready to launch. You're not going to be waiting for the first few students to go through it in order to get those testimonials and proof of concept that are so valuable when you build your sales page, when you market your course. You really, really gain so much by running a beta program and having that initial group run through it. And like we talked about, whether it is selling your beta program and actually charging for your beta program, or setting up that A team to help you promote, you can pre sell your course in a smarter way using your students. And your students are your best friends. So, whether it's through affiliate marketing, you can set up affiliates in Teachable so that your initial beta group of students gets a little kickback anytime they sign someone up for the course down the road. You can set up a system where you give them additional value or coaching in exchange for every time they help, whether it's money or other value, or if it's just treating those initial group of students really well and keeping them informed when the course goes live. This initial group of students is going to help you get more students down the road. It's just how it works. If you help someone, they want to give that transformation to their friends and families, and they're going to promote you. So, regardless of all the other methods of email marketing, social media, all of these other methods, word of mouth is still one of the most powerful tools. And getting your students involved in that process, this beta group of students, is going to be critical to having a smart pre sale strategy. Now, if you're looking for further information on pre sale strategies, on actually launching your course, selling your course, developing your curriculum before running your beta program, like I said, we have all of that available on the Spotlight YouTube. Head over there. We try and make titles for videos that are pretty self explanatory. Dive into them and comment on any of them if you got what you wanted or if you need more information. We love hearing all of that. And once again, we do have a survey linked in the description, and it is there so we can learn from you what it is you want to learn so we can dedicate our resources towards doing so. However, before we wrap up today, and today is a bit of a shorter event because I don't want to take a lot of your time, I want to answer any questions we still have in the comments. And then I do just want to show you what it looks like on Teachable itself to run a beta program, how I'm running mine, and what tools I use to do so. So, first, I want to get to some of the questions we have. So, Sarah is asking a few great questions. So Sarah's saying, because I'm planning to host office hours with my course, I've been thinking of charging monthly, annually for the full course. But would beta students be okay with monthly annual fee, even a small one? Sarah, it really depends on your audience, and it's valuable to ask your audience. But if you're clear on the value that you're offering, you should be able to ask a little bit, and do consider the model that Jay Klaus has and other creators have, where your monthly membership is separate from the course. So you can set up a monthly membership to get access to those office hours and then just discount the course value off of that membership. So anyone who buys the course gets maybe 3 months free on the membership or a month free. It all depends on what you're charging. But that tends to be a better model. In general, it'll allow you to have two valuable products. There might be people who see the course but only want to sign up for the membership. There might be people who want the membership and then see the course. It's a great way to cross promote and offer additional products and value. So do consider having those as separate and maybe not bundling them together. I'm seeing more and more creators do this, and it's providing an easier way to set clear expectations and deliver all the promised value to customers. So, Sarah, if you need more details about that, once again, go watch that video with Jay Klaus, how to build a community that your students can thrive in. And we go into more detail in a beautiful conversation with Jay about how that actually works. Once again, drop in if you have any questions down the road. So, and you're saying, interesting. I'm currently running a Patreon, so that's definitely something to consider. Awesome. So, Sarah, maybe just consider that your course gives a discount to that Patreon and maybe make the Patreon a little more robust or just make that an avenue to use. Using those two together is a powerful tool. And once again, don't assume that your course needs a community. Don't just assume that. Maybe, yeah, just provide a discount on the Patreon for anyone who joins the course. And another question from Sarah, I already have a Discord. Could I simply do a couple of private channels for the course, or should I start a new Discord? You could just do a private channel for the course 100%. And Sarah, it sounds like if you already have that Patreon, um, then you can still make that all work. And I know you're saying Patreon can't do discounts, sadly, which is very annoying. They can't, but you can refund people on Patreon. It is annoying, but that might be an avenue to go about, that you just refund students who are already in the course. There is a way to figure it out. Or you can look to Circle or other products, maybe move your Patreon clients over to a service that does offer everything you want and allows you to do everything you want down the road. So, just to dive in quickly, I do want to show you what it actually looks like to build a beta program on Teachable. And there are a bunch of ways to do this, but just to show you how I have it. So I first built my course as in development. I have my development course with no students in it. And this is where I built the whole curriculum. I tested it, like personally, just built everything, put it all in order. And then I simply just duplicated the course, as you can here, and you don't even have to publish it yet. So my actual course is published with sales pages and all of that so that I can start collecting leads. So I highly recommend using this model, and I'll show you kind of how it works. So I have my actual course I built with my sales pages and everything, just to show you what that looks like. This is my course. I've included a lead magnet in the main page and all of the information that I want on my sales pages here. The only difference is you can't buy it yet. I just hid the purchase option and the pricing option so that I just collect emails. I have a nice little video introducing the course, what it's going to be about. I'm saying it's coming this fall, and sign up to get notified for exclusive pre-sale pricing. So rather than asking for money, I'm just collecting emails with that sales page. Meanwhile, when it was time to run the beta program, I just duplicated the course, kept it unpublished so that no sales pages show up or anything, and you can just add users to that course. I can't show you my users panel because that has people's personal emails on it, but you can add users to an unpublished course, which makes it incredibly easy to host your beta program without putting all of that live. And then in my actual beta program, it's the same curriculum, but then I'm taking notes, I'm developing, and once I am done with my beta program, I will just update the actual course. And in the future down the road, if I want to run another beta version of this course, or if I want to add lectures and get feedback from those initial beta students, so maybe months after I've launched the course, I'm like, oh, I think I want to add this video. I add it in there. I still have that dedicated beta program just for those students so I can get feedback before I launch anything live on the actual course that's available for the public. And then, like I said, I use Discord. So, just to show you a little bit what that looks like, I have a bunch of channels on my Discord. And let's go to mine here. And you can see it is super easy to open various channels. I have the general channel where I just give people information and general, or I ask for their feedback here. You can also do that within Teachable by just enabling comments and then emailing students through Teachable. So you can do all of that in Teachable. But I just want you to see roughly what a Discord looks like. I like it because it does allow me to have avenues for people to share what they're working on and all of that. But you could do all of that in Teachable by enabling comments on a lecture, telling people to comment there. And then anytime you want to reach out to your students, you can use the email function in Teachable to reach out to them. And then they'll just email directly back to you whatever email you signed up for your Teachable account with. So the community aspect, the one downside to doing it in Teachable solely is it doesn't provide as much opportunity for students to talk back and forth. It doesn't update students when someone drops a comment. You can do all of that, but it's really up to students to set those preferences. So there are advantages to the community aspect. However, I do want to highlight that you can do all of that in Teachable. Now, that is all I have to show right off the bat, just how easy it is to establish a beta program. You could just duplicate the existing course you're working on, add those students into an unpublished course, continue collecting leads or sales on your existing sales page, and run those students through that process. That all said, if you have any questions about the platform, let me know. We do have a little more time here, and we do have some questions I want to get to. So, Monique is saying, what about tier levels so that people could have the option of buying the course on its own or buying the course as well as a set number of office hours? That's a great way to do it as well. When it comes to bundling products, Teachable makes it quite easy. So you can actually now create bundles. So if you have, say, if you use the coaching products as your way to do office hours, you could bundle with the course a certain amount of coaching time or anything like that. These are fantastic ways, and we highly encourage you to experiment because new creators are finding new ways of doing it all the time. But Monique, I love where your mind is at. That's totally a fantastic way to do it. And does Teachable include a transcript feature for lessons? Teachable does not inherently, but it is something coming soon. I will say there are fantastic tools like Descript and other tools out there that you can just run any video through to get a transcript of it, and they're free. So if you just look up transcribing videos or even just uploading it to YouTube will give you a transcript of your video. There are great ways to do that. Um, Awesome. So I'm going to kill a little time here because there is a delay with comments. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions, but let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you have any further questions, or if there's any aspect of running the beta program that you would like to know more in detail. Like I said, we do build events around what you want to learn. So let us know what you want to learn. There's the survey in the description, or you can just hop in the comments and let us know. And if you do not have a Teachable account yet, it is completely free to sign up. It's not a free trial. You can actually just have a free Teachable account where you can build your first course, where you can establish your initial brand, where you can start getting out there, collecting emails, growing your audience, and being familiar with the platform so that when it's time to run a beta program to build your course, you're not struggling with the platform. It's just inputting all that information in, and you can focus on your students and focus on refining your curriculum to make sure that it is as good as it possibly can be. That said, if you're new to Teachable, whether you have an account or have not yet, you can sign up for free down below, and you can also sign up for our free mini course. We at Spotlight built a mini course specifically for you to help you establish your home base on Teachable. So if you haven't built a homepage on Teachable where students can come and learn a little bit about you, about your brand, about what you offer, regardless of whether you have products or not, and have a lead capture form like I showed you on my sales page where you can capture emails of people who might be interested down the road, the mini course outlines exactly that. There's also some bonus lessons in there to help you choose your brand colors, build a brand logo. You can build a link tree using Teachable. There's a lot of value in that mini course. Or if you already are on Teachable, you already have courses, but you want to see what it's like to build a mini course or what a good mini course looks like, check it out. We have a full team that we work with to make sure that all of the products we output are stellar and fantastic quality. So even if you're just interested in what a mini course as a lead magnet looks like, check that out. It's right there for you. And if you had a good time today, please like and subscribe to Spotlight YouTube channel. We are continuing to do our best to bring you events like this with creators and with myself that help you fix all of the challenges that come with taking your business online. And if you want to get updates of new events and discounted offers, future mini courses, and all of that directly to your inbox, there is also a link in the description to sign up for our newsletter. That'll mean you don't have to check on YouTube. You don't have to look up any of that. It's just going to come directly to you. And we also try and make sure that every email provides additional value and additional resources. So if you want a companion in your process and your journey, there to help you along the way, sign up for the newsletter, and we'll be there to send you all of those future updates, discounts, products, and even just tips and tricks to like getting yourself established and getting everything figured out. It is always such a blast hanging out with you all. I appreciate all of you being so engaged and present throughout the process. Once again, please fill out that survey so we know what it is you want to learn. Hop in the comments, whether you're watching live or the replay, and let me know if there's any additional content or if you had a good time, any specific takeaways from today. We love hearing you, and we do read every single comment. That said, thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with me. Please go check out on our YouTube channel the other events coming up this week. We're going to be diving into some really fun stuff. So make sure to go check those out, and we'll see you soon. I'll see you all tomorrow or the day after. It's always a blast. Have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.